afternoon, I'm Ed.
And I'm Jacob.
And welcome to the Hardy Hatchlings YouTube channel. Today we're going to spend a bit of time sorting out some of our meat chicks. We've got about 30 to process. So come join us and the family as we continue to build a bit of self-sufficiency on this, one of our homestead issues. So after you've killed the chicken and you've cut off its head, we're then going to take the end of its wing off. And that's the way it goes sometimes. You are midway through editing and putting together a video and you realise that the 30+ minutes of instructional work that you did was accidentally set onto slow-mo and is completely useless. So we are now going to have to collect one of our spare meat chicks, or meat chickens, and then she'll need 24 hours of no food so that her crop's nice and empty, and we're then ready to dispatch her and butcher her tomorrow. Come on, girl. Come on, out you come. Out you come. So these are the birds that we raise up from day olds. This is a Hubbard. When you go to your supermarkets, you'll tend to get what is either a Ross or a Cobb. But these, we like them. They're much more hardy. They grow outside much better. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put her away so that she can spend 24 hours with water, but not indulge herself on food, so that her crop's nice and empty. So ultimately, with all of the hens that we have, so whether it's our laying flock, our meat flock, or whether it's our ducks, you've got to make sure that you're looking after them. So they've got to have enough food, they've got to have enough water, they've got to have enough space. You know, if you look at how the battery farmers do it, or the battery farms, when they think about mass production of meat, there's a significant lack of a lot of space for some of the birds. And so we make sure that with this, you know, just under an acre of land, that the chickens have had free reign. They've been able to scratch and eat as much as they please across this land, and you know, whether that's using the orchard here, so whether they're using our pear trees, or the plums, or the apples, or whatever, you know, they've had plenty to graze on, plenty of bugs to graze on, and plenty of available water and space for sleeping and roosting. But that's what this is about. It's about us raising chickens that we can eat. We want to make sure that the food that we put in our bodies is as good for us as possible, and so that's why we raise these, and we look after them as best we possibly can. And that's it. So we'll be back in about 24 hours. She's got plenty of water in there to keep her going, keep her sustained. And then tomorrow she'll have a nice empty crop and we'll be ready to dispatch her humanely and then skin her.
A few moments later.
So after our initial issues with the recording there, we're now going to spend some time working out and talking through how we skin our chickens. This is the way that we prepare our flock. The reason why is we let them grow on a little bit older than you would do conventionally. The feathers are a bit more difficult to get off, and skinning is the quickest way to do that. So usual tools that you'll need: sharp knife, and we like to use a pair of secateurs. Now it can all be done with the sharp knife. However, for getting through the legs and getting through the neck, it's a lot easier to do it with a sharp knife. Okay, now we're going to make our first incision. So you're just grabbing the skin here, you're making a small hole. That's it. One small hole made. Once that's made, then you're going to want to get your hands in and start opening her up. So, what we normally do with these when we're doing lots is we tend to hang them upside down and do it that way because it's a lot easier to just use the force of them hanging up to grab a lot of this stuff and get it off. But all I'm doing is I'm just working my way along. As you can see there, I'm just getting her skin off. What you're starting to see is what looks like your normal chicken at the supermarket. So I'm going to make a small incision again here. This is just to split up the top from the bottom. When we do this, over on the side, and then we're just pulling that along. The idea being I want to get as much as I can off these wings. Now I've actually forgotten a step, which is the end of the wings. So here you've got your wing, your normal bit that you'd get for when you buy wings, and then you've got your wing tips here. Now we don't use those. What we do, cut them off. So cut one off, do it again, same on the other side, find the wing tip, and cut it off. Secateurs make sure you're happy with that sort of thing. Okay, it just means that when we're now peeling and getting this off, it's going to allow us quickly to, there we go, make the incision that we need to make and to pull it off the wing. There's no particularly pretty way to do this, you just got to get on with it. Make sure you've got your bucket to hand. Okay. Now, because she was going to be part of our flock, we've actually cut a lot of her feathers to stop her from being able to jump over fences. Just making it slightly more difficult to pull the rest of the skin off, but that's no issue. I can get around that. Just use whatever leverage you can to pull it off. There we go. Right, so that's one wing, and then do the other side. Now, if we're doing this outside and not in a dining room, because we messed up the video, you normally have the hose pipe on as well. We'd like to use the hose pipe to rinse as much water as we possibly can. Let's separate that, separate the crop from the neck there. Let's pull this off. Good. Again, pretty self-explanatory. We're just literally pulling any skin, get some leverage, pull it off. Now, you might be able to see that there, but you've obviously got all of your feathers that are growing into the wing. What you can do, take your knife, You just follow it down. I don't mind if I'm losing a little bit of meat, as long as I'm not eating feathers, in the interest of speed. Much rather get it off. Right, there you go. So that's the top half. She's still wearing her skirt. You'll see in the videos of us doing all of this, which I'll put up after this. But again, foot joint. So look where the joint is. Got your succotaurs. Cut straight through. And then you've just got a bit of skin with a knife to take off. Now you can keep these. Some people do. They keep their chicken legs to one side. We do sometimes for the dog. Same again here, finding the joint, cut through, one fell swoop. You can keep the chicken feet if you so wish. I'll put them to one side at the moment. And just grab these bits of feather from the table and get rid of them. So, carrying on. Pull it all the way down. Now around the legs, if you can get your hand around them, force your thumb in, up against the leg, and then you see that, we're literally just pulling them off. There you go, one side, and then the other side. One moment cooler, there we go. Again, finding the little bit underneath the leg. And then pulling it off the end there. Okay, now, what we're going to do is I'm going to pause, give this a quick wash, just to get the majority of the feathers off. Then we can carry on with the next part, which is going to be gutting. So, join me in about 2 seconds. Good. Right, so we've now skinned as much as we are going to skin at this stage, taken the feet off, and now I'm going to prep it for gutting. Now, there's different ways of doing this. I'll show you how we do it. Easiest way we can. So, we've obviously got the chicken's tail there. What I'm going to do is with the knife, I'm going to cut either side of her spine, and then I'm going to cut through the spine at the back there, and essentially detach all of this here. So when it comes to gutting, it's an easy way to get it out. So as you can see here, do a small incision on the left, and then on the right. And then we're going to marry it up in the middle. Now, you can try and find the easiest way for the knife to go. Generally, the path of least resistance means that you're going through muscle and not through bone. You're not going to blunt your knife too badly. So there you go. You can see that's now open up. And everything's still intact that needs to be intact in here, apart from obviously we've taken the tailbone off. So turn her over. Next thing is this neck that you can see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the windpipe and the crop from the actual neck as much as I can. You can see that there. All the way down, and then I'm going to get my succotaurs and I'm just going to clip this off nice and quick. Succotaurs. Now I want to cut it quite low. The reason we do that is because we like to put ours in basting bags whole as roasties. So you cut the neck bone nice and low, and it stops the spine that's left ripping open the bag. So we cut it nice and low there. Okay, so you've now got a neck as well. See that again, good for the dog if you want to give it to the dog. Apparently very good as well if you want to make broth or if you want to make chicken broth. So we've now turned her over. And separate the extra bits of skin that I don't need. And all I'm doing here is, you can see at the top, a little pinch. No more than that, and we're going to open it up. So how I like to do that is follow it down to the end on both sides, down there, to open it up. Same on the other side. Press pause, please. Okay, so we've now opened it up, and all we're doing essentially is we're just following the breast, getting the breast off here and down here. You can have a look inside. There's two bits that people like to keep. One is the liver, and the other for chicken liver pate, and the other is the heart for dog treats. Now, if you want to do that, you can literally get your hands in. You can find the liver, normally in two parts, and just pull it out. So there's one part of the liver you can see, and the second part on the other side. Being careful not to burst anything else while you're in there. Another piece of liver there. So if you wanted to make chicken liver pate, then you could. The heart's right up at the top. Now, what I'm going to do, what I would do normally if we were on a table, is right at the end, I would sort of upend the bird and get as much out as I can. Now, what I'm going to do here is, feeling my way around, there's a bone essentially that's down there, almost like a hip bone. I'm going to cut, following that down, and then marry that up with the incisions that I've already made, making sure not to split any of the intestines. In fact, let me do it this way. So, I've got my bucket. Now we're going to gut it, how I do it outside. So, get your whole chicken here. The heart is up on this side here, so you can feel it there with your hands. If you want to take it out, just pull it out, 2 fingers on it. Essentially pinch it out. Bear with me. But that is the heart, essentially, there. That is the heart there. So that's the chicken's heart. Again, we're not using it, but it can be used for dog treats, etc. Now, to get everything out, hands right up, and you're essentially scooping out everything that you can, and you're forcing it out. That is going to involve pulling things like the crop down and through as well. But you want to make sure that everything you possibly can get out, you're getting out through the base of the chicken there. I can sort this excess skin off at the end, or I can just pull it off now. Okay, so everything's now out underneath. Make sure it's all separated there. You can see all its intestines and everything all falling out. There's also a big amount of fat that likes to sit there. Okay, so we've got everything out. Now I'm going to take the knife and I'm going to make 2 incisions. One down this side, one down the other side. Do that quickly now. Same on the other side. Okay, now down, you can see it's all essentially ready to fall out. And you've got it all there. And there you go. So that is all the organs out of the chicken that we need to get out, less the lungs. Now the lungs sit, I don't know if we can turn a light on, but the lungs sit in here, right in the cavity. So what we'll do is I'll take my hand and essentially scoop it out like that, following on the rib cage. So from right to left, you can just feel it out there. That's that lung. And same on the other side, we're just scooping it out again. So left to right, just to scoop it out, push it away from the rib cage, and then we're pulling it out. One second. There you go. So that's both sides there. We're just working our way through. Now, onto the final tidy up. So you've got some bits and pieces here that we need rid of. There you go. Right. Okay, now on to the tidy up.
Give me some drop when I'm ready. I'm ready. That's all of them, Daddy.
Well, that about wraps us up for today's episode of this instalment of the Hardy Hatchlings YouTube channel. We hope you've enjoyed it. A bit of an opportunity to see us how we process our meat chickens that we've raised from day olds, how we skin them, and now we'll go on to enjoy them this evening. If you want to see more content like this of us spending time out in the outside, enjoying the homesteading, camping, spending time, growing and raising our children to love the great outdoors, then please subscribe and comment and like. Bye for now.
Bye.